Hi, I'm Abra Anderson. The question I'm going to answer is a question that might be asked by a parent who's considering putting their child in DLI, and that is, why is it that immersion seems to work so well? I believe the main reason is probably because immersion programs mimic more closely how we learn our native language. That's done because DLI is based on using content as the vehicle for learning the language. In other words, your first graders learning the water cycle with all the other first graders, but the instruction and everything about it is in Spanish. And your seventh grader in my class is learning all about the Mayan civilizations of the past in Spanish. So that makes the learning meaningful and real, which is very important in learning a language. For years, I was a Spanish teacher and I taught as a foreign language teacher in the high school. And so to teach the language, I would um, present a concept and then we do drills and games and other activities so that the kids could memorize that concept and begin to try and use it. And they used it in things that I would create. I'd make things in the classroom for them to do. Um, Very artificial in a lot of ways, not horrible, but quite artificial compared to the DLI program where everything is very real. For example, in my seventh grade class, if I want to teach a concept about verbs, I notice that the kids aren't quite getting something right when they're conjugating their verbs. And so I'll stop the class one day and we'll do a lesson on the verbs. The kids are listening to the lesson, they're absorbing it, and they're thinking, oh, okay. So the next essay I write, I'm going to incorporate that is something real and meaningful that they need. And so they soak it on in. I think two other really important reasons why immersion works so well is the time that the kids are involved in it and the diversity of the students that are in the program. So as far as the time, when your student joins our program here in Box Elder County, they're going to be in the DLI program for 9 years. Very different than a typical foreign language class that you might take for so many semesters. Studies say that a student who's taking a language in school and wants to become bilingual needs 6 years or more. So the 9 years creates the bilingual students. The second reason, as I mentioned, was the student population. So your student coming into the program speaking as a native English speaker, learning Spanish, is going to be in all the same classes with native Spanish speakers who are learning English. So this is great for many reasons. Two of the reasons I think that I would like to highlight. First is that obviously in all the peer-to-peer contact in the classroom um, that's going on, these students are hearing natives speaking that language, whether it's the English or the Spanish, depending on who your student is. Um, and in a DLI program, there's so much interaction in the classroom, constantly working in pairs, constantly working in small groups, talking together over something, deciding something. They even write things together. Most everything we do in the classroom is done in pairs or groups. And so the students have all that interaction with someone who's their same age and speaking that foreign language to them, their second language, fluently is wonderful. Another thing that I think shouldn't be forgotten and can't be overstated is the importance of the cultural underpinnings of the language. And so as the students are working together, they're playing together, they're becoming friends, they're developing friendships. They are beginning to understand each other's cultures, and that helps a great deal. I think you can't be truly bilingual without a cultural understanding of a language. How it's used and why it's used is extremely important. I think the last thing I would mention on reasons why um, the DLI program is so effective are the teachers and the students themselves. So the teachers are held to a higher level as DLI teachers. For example, as a Spanish high school teacher, I had to be an advanced level in speaking and writing the language. As a DLI teacher, I have to be advanced mid. So I have to be a level higher to qualify for the program, to be a teacher in the program, which is one reason why programs are a little bit higher quality. And the other is the student body. I think there is a high buy-in among the students, and there have been studies that have shown that there's a high buy-in probably due to the fact that the students start so young and they're like a community. They go from grade to grade with the same group of students, a pretty big group. Right now in my DLI program, I have 94 students in my seventh grade. So it's not just a couple students. It's not a small program, but they get to know each other. It's a community, and there's that community feel. And I think the students too realize all the benefits that they get in the program. There was a study done um, where they interviewed students in high school and asked them about their DLI experience, students that had been in since the very young ages. And there were well over 90% had a very high favorability of the program. So they felt very good about the program. They felt very good about the teachers they'd had. They had close relationships with those teachers and the other students, the friendships. They mentioned the cultural things that they learned and were very happy with the program. And that buy-in creates students who are happy to be here, interested in learning, and that helps the program a lot. Um, so the success of the DLI program is well documented, and we are so fortunate here in Utah to have the opportunity in so many areas, so many schools in Utah that offer this opportunity of the dual language immersion programs for students. Thank you for listening.